Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here in my robe drinking my morning coffee looking sexy as hell as usual. And for those of you who say I don't look sexy as hell when I do these videos in my robe, nobody cares what you think. I didn't ask you shit. Now, one of the arguments I've always made over the years, and I've always made this argument in forums, I've always made this argument in public discussions with other people, and it's something I think interesting that I was making this argument even before, like when I saw the other day on the NBB page, No Bullshit Bodybuilding, it was brought up that it isn't fair to compare supplements to steroids. Now, in my experience, the only people who say that are essentially people who are brainwashed by that line being rolled out by members of the supplement industry, or by people who are supplement industry shills in some way. And I'm going to make the case for the fact that it is fair to compare them. Now, as far as the legality issue goes, that's one of the factors you would consider, but people would point out, well, they're illegal, one's legal and one isn't. Well, that's not true, first of all. That's purely an American argument. The fitness world isn't Fitness America. The training world isn't Training America. In fact, this YouTube channel, only 40% of the views of the videos here are in the United States. 40%. So it means over half are not in the United States. So put that into perspective. The other factor there is that the supplement industry has a vested interest in keeping anabolics illegal in the US, and tons of supplements become illegal. And tons of people put in their own personal risk analysis of if they do illegal stuff or not. I know tons and tons of people who use cannabis, even though it is illegal. So yeah, it's a factor, but what it comes down to is, yes, it is fair to compare them because people are generally taking supplements unless they're doing them for health purposes. If you are not taking them for health purposes, such as just basic vitamins and minerals, you are taking them for gaining muscle, gaining strength, losing fat, recovery, or energy. That's the reason people are taking them. And most people who are taking them, who are watching stuff on the fitness world and watching YouTube channels and reading bodybuilding pages or powerlifting pages, are taking them for the purpose of gaining muscle, gaining strength. Now, that being said, because in a lot of countries they are legal, and because they are still widely available even in countries where they are illegal, virtually anybody could get them if they spent a couple hours looking. They'd get their hands on them. Not that difficult. They're no harder to get than cannabis is. So what each individual person would do, it is fair to compare for a person to step back and say that, yes, asking supplements to be able to be competitive with anabolics and other PEDs in terms of their effectiveness, their risk, and those risks could include health or legal or social consequences. And let's keep in mind there are plenty of supplements that have been found to be very dangerous to health, probably way more so than testosterone is. Testosterone is relatively mild in terms of health risk for most users. They exist, but you don't even have long-term studies to even study the question in tons of these supplements that are cranked out. And then you have the cost factor, the financial cost. So that's basically your three tiers of comparison. And because of those 5 reasons that people are taking supplements, for the most part, at least younger individuals who are trying to gain muscle and strength or get into better shape, rather than just for their antioxidant properties for people who may not even work out. Since they're taking them for those 5 purposes, yes, it is reasonable to expect supplements, when those 3 factors are factored in, to be competitive for individuals with PEDs. It is reasonable, and for anyone to say otherwise, they're basically trying to make the argument to push less effective products that might even cost more, because they know that for tons of people that the PEDs will win out when they're compared. So that whole line of thinking of it isn't fair to compare them is absolutely marketing by the supplement industry, and the people who are pushing that idea that you can't compare them are making money off the supplement industry. And they, just like the rest of the supplement industry, do not want people to logically compare these two things, because they would very quickly be out of business. And they sure cannot afford for them to be made illegal in the U.S. If there was ever any bill pushed in the U.S. like there is in the U.K. here to decriminalize PEDs, anabolic steroids, growth hormone, things like that, the supplement industries, all the big companies, would definitely spend money to fight against it, purely because it could destroy their profits. Alright guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.